if you remember the big controversy about all of the migrants who came into Haiti.
So here's the racism. The racism, the lies that continue in regards to J.D. Vance and Trump, Justina Diva, and the shit stain of America. Let's go ahead. They're eating the cats and the dogs. They're eating the cats and the dogs. That never happened. What are you talking about? Here we go.
20,000 immigrants, Haitian migrants, in a town of 40,000 people. So you blink your eyes in Springfield, Ohio, and you wake up, and literally a third of the population of your town is now Haitian immigrants.
And eating cats and dogs.
Eating cats and dogs. Now, Biden paroled those immigrants.
She should not have a job. This woman should not have a job or a platform, because she's the one who is feeding this misinformation to J.D. Vance. And then J.D. Vance is obviously securing it and, condoning it. But, she should not have a job. I've literally stated out 3 or 4 points now where she's lied on Joe Biden, where she's lied about abortion, where she's lied about slave wages, where she's lied about now cats and dogs, the Haitians eating the cats and the dogs. But anyway, I digress. Let's continue on where J.D. Vance's specifically racist comments, and this is where I just couldn't do it anymore, and I tuned out. I was like, I can't do it anymore. Every segment, every portion, and every topic had a lie in it. There's no truth to any part of this interview.
Immigrants. And what did that mean? Those immigrants were now able, even if they didn't have kids, all of them were able to access housing benefits. So I would talk to constituents in Springfield, Ohio. This is when I was still a senator. This was before I was the vice presidential nominee. And here's the situation they would describe to me that happened in Springfield, Ohio. So you're a landlord and you're renting, let's say, a 3-bedroom house to a family of 4, a family of 5. Okay. They're paying, let's say, $1,000 a month a couple of years ago in Springfield, Ohio to rent that house. Now, all of a sudden, 4 families of Haitian migrants come in, each of them getting $1,000 per family, and they're willing to put 20 people into a 3-bedroom house. So what does that do? That prices all of the American citizens out of those houses. Right. That drives up the rents for everybody, because now you have a 3-bedroom house that you can rent for $4,000 a month or $3,000 a month instead of $1,000 a month. That completely destroys the ability of Americans to live the American dream. And that's what those open borders did.
And creates division and hatred.
And of course it does. How could it not create division? I mean, let's say you're living.
How does that create division and hatred? I'm sorry, but do we not understand the economy right now? Even if we talk about kids that are getting out of college and can't find jobs in their career fields that they got a degree for, they're living at home. So how is a Spanish family or a Haitian family living in a apartment or a home with multiple family members any different from a college kid that can't find a job in a steady paying job and a living wage job, an affordable wage job for living? How is that any different than them going home after college? So immigrants are not allowed to band together and support each other, but white Christian nationalist college kids can go home and, live off their parents? It's the double standard. It's racism. Blatant racism.
Living in a house and your neighbors move out. We can hear Atlas shaking outside. He must just come in from outside. But you have, let's say a family of 5 you've known for 5 years, 10 years, moves out of the house, is actually evicted from the house because there are people who are going to pay more for rent. And then what happens is 20 people move into a 3-bedroom house, 20 people from a totally different culture, totally different ways of interacting. Again, we can respect their dignity while also being angry at the Biden administration for letting that situation happen and recognizing that their next door neighbor is going to say, well, wait a second, what is going on here? I don't know these people. They don't speak the same language that I do. And because there are 20 in the house next door, it's a little bit rowdier than it was when there was just a family of 4, a family of 5. It is totally reasonable and acceptable for American citizens to look at their next door neighbors and say, I want to live next to people who I have something in common with. I don't want to live next to 4 families of strangers. And the fact
it's totally reasonable and American to judge people on their skin color. That's called racism. That he literally just said the quiet part out loud. When do we get to choose our neighbors? If you move into a neighborhood, you don't just get to choose who lives next to you, unless you're in an HOA or something like that. But you don't usually get to choose your neighbors. So I'm so dumbfounded by this conversation. And this is where I tuned out, because I was like, all right, this is just racist rhetoric and Republican talking points and MAGA talking points used to push this agenda of immigration being evil and immigrants coming to this country being evil. Because, again, he used an analogy of 20 Haitian immigrants in one home. And again, I point out the difference. What's the difference between a Christian family banding together and renting out a home? It's only a problem if it's Haitian immigrants. It's only a problem if it's Latino immigrants, right? It's only a problem if it's Latinos, even if they're legal. It's only a problem if it's a black family. It's a little bit rowdy for the black family, but we're not going to pay attention to the fact that Christians do the same thing to game the system in regards to rent, as he pointed out, right? White people do the same thing. It's not being corrupting and creating distrust in the system isn't delegated to one group of person. Like, you can't, again, this administration boxes people, and that's what's divisive. This administration is creating the divisive abilities of this country, not Haitian immigrants who are here trying to create a better life for themselves, not Latino immigrants who are looking to create a better life with themselves, not Latino families who are trying to create better lives for themselves and say, okay, we can band together and afford our lives if we live together instead of separately, and paying $2,500, $2,600, $2,700, $4,000 for rent for a one-bedroom apartment. So again, J.D. Vance is saying, we support the major companies. We support the business. We support the corporations of America that abuse Americans by raising rent prices so high versus the ability for actual Americans to afford a livable life. That is what J.D. Vance said in this, all while cloaking it in a dire blanket of racism, saying we should be able to choose who our neighbors are, and we should feel comfortable with who our neighbors are because we should be able to see them as white Christian nationalists. No one else should live in our neighborhoods. When the fuck, as Americans, did we ever get to pick our neighbors? I want to know that. Someone answer it for me. Someone fucking answer it for me. But just after this point, I tuned out. I was like, I can't do it. I can't do any more of J.D. Vance. I can't. I couldn't do any more of the lies. I couldn't do any more of the misrepresentations. I couldn't do any more of Miranda spouting out Republican talking points and MAGA talking points. I couldn't do any more of Justina Diva's bad eyeliner and the caked up face makeup. I couldn't do it. I was like, I need to stop. I need to get out of here. This is too much. So I stopped. But again, this is the problem in this administration, this interview that I watched 30 minutes of and was able to disprove with factual information and factual evidence and video shows that this administration continues to use rhetoric that's divisive and targets immigrants and immigration as evil, when in actuality, immigration is the fabric of America. Immigration is what creates the culture of America. And I don't remember who said this, but I'm trying to specifically remember what was said here. Someone said immigration creates division. I'm trying to remember who said it. Someone said immigration creates division. And it's just untrue. What creates division is fear. So the fact that you don't know your neighbors, J.D. Vance, maybe you should just go next door and say, hi, I'm Justina Dieva. Oh my God, please don't use my last name. No, sir. Just be like, hi, I'm Justina Diva. And like, who are you? I want to get to know you. Let me just make sure you're a good family, talk to people. That's how you create less distrust, by talking to your neighbors, not by racially profiling them as rowdy because there's 20 of them living in the apartment. America's expensive, J.D. Vance. Let people live with their families.